Hello everyone, this is verse of the day for September 25th and it says First Corinthians. I love this verse. Number one, because it contains First Corinthians 13, the definition of love, but it always just has a peaceful mood to it. I think it's like just good wisdom for you to have. And anyway, I just like anything in the Old Testament. Okay, so let me go back because it's taking long to load. Okay, so First Corinthians 15, I'll read the whole thing, then get to the specific verse. Okay, 15:58. Okay, this is for September 25th, and it says, what kind of body will we have? Now, from the title, I can already tell that this is going to try to be an explanation of what kind of body we're going to end up in heaven, because everybody always has questions. What's heaven going to be like? They try to answer that in the Bible. So this obviously is what kind of body we're going to have in heaven. Most likely it'll be talking about spiritual body or. But let's see. But someone may ask, how are the dead raised? What kind of body will they have? These are stupid questions. When you plant when you plant something, it must die in the ground before it can live and grow. And when you plant something, what you plant does not have the same body that it will have later. What you plant is only a seed, maybe wheat or something else. But God gives it the body that He has planned for it, and He gives each kind of seed its own body. All things made of flesh are not the same. People have one kind of flesh, animals have another, birds have another, the fish yet have another kind. Also, there are heavenly bodies and earthly bodies, but the beauty of the heavenly body is one kind, and the beauty of the earthly bodies is another. The sun has one kind of beauty, the moon has another kind, and the stars have another, and each star is different in its beauty. It will be the same when those who have died are raised to life. The body that is planted, quote unquote, planted in the grave will ruin and decay, but it will be raised to a life that cannot be destroyed. When the body is planted, it is without honor, but when it is raised, it will be great and glorious. When the body is planted, it is weak, but when it is raised, it will be full of power. The body that is planted, they have quotes around it, so I have to do this. The body that is planted is a physical body. When it is raised, it will be a spiritual body. There is a physical body, so there is also a spiritual body. As the scriptures say, the first man, Adam, became a living person. But the last Adam is a life-giving spirit. The spiritual man did not come first. It was the physical man that came first. Then came the spiritual. The first man came from the dust of the earth. The second man came from heaven. All people belong to the earth. They are like that first man of earth. But those who belong to heaven are like that man of heaven. We were made like that man of earth, so we will also be made like that man of heaven. I tell you this, brothers and sisters, our bodies of flesh and blood cannot have a part in God's kingdom. Something that will ruin cannot have a part in something that never ruins. But listen, I tell you the secret. We will not all die, but we will all be changed. It will only take the time of a second. We will be changed as quickly as an eye blinks. This will happen when the last trumpet blows. The trumpet will blow, and those who have died will be raised to live forever, and we will all be changed. This body that ruins must clothe itself with something that will never ruin, and this body that dies must clothe itself with something that never dies. So this body that ruins will clothe itself with that which never ruins, and this body that dies will clothe itself with that which never dies. When this happens, the scriptures will be made true, where it says, death is swallowed in victory, in Isaiah 25:8. O death, where is your victory? Where is your power to hurt? In Hosea 13:14, that's written. Death's power to hurt is sin, and the power of sin is the law. But we thank God who gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. So, my dear brothers and sisters, stand strong. Don't let anything change you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord. You know that your work in the Lord is never wasted. So that's a lot to take in. But if you're familiar with the Bible, you know exactly what it's talking about. It uses a lot of rhythmic um, jargon, let's just say, just to describe the answer to the original question, where it says at the title, what kind of body will we have? So that's a concern everybody wants to know. We can discuss that. And like he just bust out, he's like, you're asking me what kind of body will you have when you get to heaven, huh? Well, that's a stupid question. That's what he's saying. So, and then he goes on to explain why that's stupid. Because number one, he's saying that he never gets to the actual answer to it. He answers it, but not in a summary. So I'll summarize it. What's the question? What's the answer to what kind of body will we have? You will have a body, but it is to determined by God, and most likely it's going to be the same kind of body that Jesus had. So he's just saying that you first have to know that you won't have this body. And this goes back to a verse where that's why Jesus, when he walked the earth, he told his disciples, they were asking a question kind of like that. Kind of like, okay, tell me about marriage in heaven. How is that going to be? Am I going to be with my wife in heaven? What's going to. And Jesus was like, you're wrong. There's no marriage in heaven. It's not like that. You're not even going to have. I say this many times myself. Let me switch to something else first. You have two parts of you. Your spirit, which is waiting. It's like, just imagine a woman who has her seed and she's only waiting for a sperm cell to get to that seed so she can begin birth. You have a body, great. Okay, you are that sperm, you are that seed. Now you're a fully grown person. You also have, or you don't even have to be fully grown, whatever age you are, but you also have a spirit waiting to be birthed in you, just like that woman is waiting to birth a child. It's just sitting. If you leave it dormant, that's all it's going to be, is just the seed sitting there waiting for the sperm. But if you get the sperm of the word is the sperm, and it's waiting to leak up to that seed inside of you so that you can grow and develop from it. And if you ever start feeding that seed with the sperm or the word, then your spirit starts to grow within you. It starts to develop. You become a new creature, or you're working towards being one. But actually, your spirit is alive within you, which is the transformation already. So as long as you feed in your spirit's alive, it's vibrant, and the only thing that it eats is God's word. So there's two parts of you, first of all, and that's what he's saying in this verse. There's two parts of you, your body and your spirit. Now, some people have a spirit, but they haven't opened it up. It's just like the mom seed. You can't have a baby if it's no sperm attached. And you can't have a real, authentic, growing spirit or a live spirit if there's no sperm of the word that's ever attached to it. So it's just living in there. And all you are is really just a walking body and vessel. You haven't begged your spirit at all. You're just a vessel. So doing whatever you want. And there's two sides. On this side, here's your body. If you wake up today, this is how you determine which one you got. If your whole life is only about the things that the flesh wants, your body has its own desires, your spirit has its own desires. And I've said this before, and I'm going to sort this out for you. If this is which side you're on, and you can always switch sides. Just take a little feeding of the word. This is what the flesh wants. It wants to eat. Number one. Are you always worried if your day consistent of nothing but this stuff? Eat. If you're old enough or get to the age where your hormones kick in, eat, sex, sleep. What else does the body want? Eat, sex, sleep, and get some kind of entertainment, I guess. Those kind of things. Those are the things that the body desires. If you sit around too long by yourself, are you saying, it's boring? Or do you do you realize this is the perfect time to indulge or dwell into God's word and feed your spirit? So if these are the only things that your day consists of, sex, entertainment, getting money so you can get food to eat and food to eat, then you're definitely working in your body. Now here's on the other end, your spirit. If you are working on in your life, if you do these things, if you are focused on quickly forgiving, showing love, forgiving and giving, showing love, caring, spreading God's message around, feeding your own spirit with God's word. If those mix in, even if it's mixed in with that, if those things are together, then you have an active spirit going on in you. So that's the way to tell the difference. So this is what it's saying. Once you realize that there's two sides of you, if you haven't done any of these, that means this is how your spirit is waiting inside of your stomach, just like a woman's seed to receive a sperm. If she's sitting there and says she thinks she's going to be the next miracle Mary, if she wants a child, then of course she got to get busy. She can't just sit there and think that a miraculous child's going to grow in her just because she had high hopes for one. No, she needs a sperm follicle to come inside of her and create that baby. So just like that, your spirit is sitting there waiting for the word of God to open it up to develop it. But if you never feed your spirit, then it's getting nothing. It's just malnourished, just sitting there dormant, and it's never going to be birthed because no one has put forth any kind of interaction for it. So if you're more on this side, what it's saying is that in this whole chapter, what it's saying is that you were created in a body, just like Jesus was created in a body. And when he went by God's principles, he developed his spirit. He was the spirit of God, and he gave his life for you. And when he rose up from giving his life, then that is when he was changed into another body. Now if you're walking around, that's great. But if you have no spirit within, then when you die, you just go on the ground and you're not being lifted up. I mean, you have no spirit to be lifted up. And I say this many times in in my other Bible videos. God is not in the business of sending you to hell. He didn't create you and say, you know what, I got thieves over here that I want, and these I just created because I like to see stuff burn up. No, he's a God who is loving, kind, and he is a God who is powerful and deserves the praise and respect that he wants. And he has been wanting to fellowship with you since he's been born and before that. He wants to be with you. He wants to relate with you. But if this whole time you only focus on these things, eating, sex, and sleep, and you'll never open your spirit up to try to connect with him or relate to him, then when you die, there's nothing to raise up. And even if you were mixed in between the two, where you had the majority of your life doing nothing but sex, food, and all this other stuff, and you were just doing it in a wrong way, and where you're just having multiple partners or whatever, and just sleeping around and just doing things that are against what God would want for your life, then when you have that fear developed, you're claiming Jesus Christ, but when you get up to heaven, then God's not saying, okay, all the bad people, you get to hell. No, what he's going to say is, I see what you chose for your life. This is me. I'm all these good things. I'm about love, kindness, forgiveness. But you accepted Jesus Christ. Yes, that's great. But you only cared about doing things against the ways that I perform. And that's, since you wanted to do that your own self, that's the thing you want. That's the kind of lifestyle you like. You do what you like. So if you're not if you're not interested in God and doing holy things or doing forgiveness or anything like that, if you're not interested in doing the godly things, what makes you think that your mind's going to change when you get in heaven? I mean, or when you get into God's judgment. And this is where you do have a spirit that's active, but you made your own choices because you wanted to do the opposite of godly things. And that's when you're sorted out. God doesn't send you anywhere. He just puts you where you want to belong. You prefer to do these things. You wanted to kill continuously, even though I said I forgive you. You accepted Jesus Christ, but did you really? You didn't, because I said, okay, you killed one person, I forgive you. And then the next day, you do a drive-by. You didn't care about that. You were just lying. So that's the kind of thing you like. That's what you want to flock to. All I'm going to do is sort right now. Let me see. Everybody, I'm looking at your resume. I'm looking at it. I see your lifestyle. I see, yes, you accepted Christ, but you still kept doing things your way. So everybody who did that on that side, everybody who wanted to do, who likes doing godly things, get on this side. And everybody goes where they chose. You put your own self in your own position. You choose where you want to go. It's not God who's saying get there, because God doesn't want anyone to perish. It says that in the Word of God. He doesn't want to send anyone to hell. He wants everyone with him, but he has to be. He's no. He's not a commander. He has. He's someone who knows he deserves respect. Just like if you're in a relationship and you're doing everything right, and your partner's not treating right, one day you say, "Wait a second, I know better than this. Uh, I don't have to take this. You do realize that, right? I'm treating you nothing but good, and you still act up. I don't have to be around. Bye bye." And you leave. That's the same way God. He's not gonna make you. Hey, I demand respect. No, I know who I am. I'm me, and I'm good at being me. And if you haven't learned that I can treat you great, and you sticking with me, that good things will happen to you. If you don't know that by now, then you're free to go away. I'm not gonna make you. You have free will all day. If I have to make you be my fellowship with me or be in a relationship with me, then I'm just lessening my worth. I know what my worth is. Someone would want to be with around me or whatever. I don't have to beg you to treat me right. It's that kind of thing. So that's what God does ultimately. You get sorted to where you want to be. God's not going to beg anyone to be with him, but he's going to show as much care as possible as he can to tell you, hey, I love you. He's going to get the message to you as much as he can. That's the reason his followers spread his message about who he is, like I'm doing right now, because one day it might just actually reach or sink into somebody's spirit where they say, wait a second, this does sound authentic. This does sound like I need to I need to realize that there's someone who loves me, and it's real love. And for that, they died for me. And since they died for me, I will change my life now and come into a relationship with the one who died for me. So, with all that said, there's two different parts of your body. You're the only one who has the choice to decide what you're going to do with your life. And if you live a life where you have no spirit, then there's nothing to raise up after you die. You're just done and finished. But if your spirit, well, actually, not done and finished, because everyone has their day to face God. So whether you left that spirit just as the seed, like a mom needs a sperm, and if she doesn't have a sperm, it's just a seed in her body. Whether you left your spirit as a seed or whether you develop it, everyone stands in front of God one day. So that's what he's saying. Just going through a whole rigmarole and just saying it. Birds have one flesh, animals, like we're all on this earth. We're all different. There's lots of alive species on this earth. I'm a human, and there's animals, ducks, fish, everything out there. There's everything. But we're not all in the same body. I mean, some have bird feathers. We have a skin. I mean, we're all different. That's what it's just saying. It's just saying that there's all types in heaven. And you can see this throughout the Bible. There's so many description of, of the, let's just say, species that are in heaven. So whether it be how we know angels or, just various, and there's animals. Sometimes they talk about different kind of horses with wings and all this other stuff. I mean, just all kind of things. So it's not, the question of it was, what kind of body will we have? It's trying to give you it's trying to say it's really for God to decide, but we can get a good idea of what kind of body we'll have because Jesus Christ came and was a living person, and he gave his life, and when he died, he was raised as a spirit, and that is most likely since we were in the same kind of body that Jesus was in when he gave his life. That's the same kind of way that we're going to be raised. And that's why when you get towards the end of the Bible, they talk about the raptures, what's to come. You always hear the story about how at the end of time, when all the people who believed in God are supposed to be magically like disappeared or something like that. And that is because that's what it says in Revelation, number one. And number two, because that's how Jesus left the earth. His whole body was taken. When they went to the, what do you call it? What do you call a grave back then? Let's just say the grave site where when Jesus gave his life on the cross, and then someone used their own burial grounds to put him in, and then they told guards to stand by the door and say, stand by this door because they're going to say that he raised up. They're going to try to steal his body and say he raised up so that everybody can believe. But I know he's just a lie. So they put guards on the door. And then later on they come into there. They see that there's nobody inside. Even though the guards were standing there all night to protect it, there was nobody inside. There's nobody. The whole body had got lifted up. So that's what they're saying. Um, So that's why they say in the twinkling of an eye, whenever that day comes, only God knows. Whenever he says, hey, it's time for everybody to come to me for judgment or whatever, he grabs everyone and their whole body is supposed to be gone from the earth, but their spirit, is gone to God. So whatever body that Jesus is in, that's what most likely what we'll be in. Because he started off as a human body and now he's that. But that is the gist of the whole story. Let me see if I can pull anything out before I go to the specific verse. Nope. 1 Corinthians 15:58. So it says, so my dear brothers and sisters, stand strong. Don't let anything change you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord. You know that your work in the Lord is never wasted. And excuse me, when you get specifically to that verse, you realize it doesn't really even have anything to do with the rest of the verse. It's just a good word for all of us, each of us. And it tells us to stand strong. We go through a lot of things in this life and just stand strong. You don't have to always respond to every problem. Every problem doesn't need your attention. Just know that you'll get through it with God and you can make it. And don't let anything change you because once you start responding to things, standing strong, that means to go through something no matter what it is, how hard or difficult it is, and come out on top, come out still with your same joy, same positive attitude, etc. That's standing strong. Because if you don't, if you go through things and then let every little thing affect you, eventually it'll change you. And that's what it's warning you against right here. Don't let anything change you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord. Whatever you do, that's the most important work in this world. Because if you think about it, life is so short. I always say this. Maybe you have 65 years on this earth, maybe less. Sometimes no more than that. But we all have a short life. Years turn like this. Life goes fast. At first, it seems like it's going to last forever. You can wait to get into a teen or an adult so you can cut up or do what you want to do. But you get older and you're like, these days are going too quick. Is it next year already? I mean, your time's constantly being cut short. So with that said, you gotta think in like, what's the most important? Should I do evil things to stack up money quick? Or at the end of the day, will all the evil things that I did for money, will this not even matter? So if noticing yourself, especially in poverty areas, this is a great message. There are lots of temptations out there. People will approach young kids to start doing their bad doings. I've seen 15, 16, 14-year-olds selling drugs right on the street. And at my age, it's like, it seems normal. But when you grow up, you're like, these are little kids who are facing jail time sentences because they're out here doing what an adult has set them up to do. So be wiser than that. Realize that even though you think things are the best way, sometimes they might not be. Think about consequences. Think about, is your life worth it? Just to get a little $5 here or whatever uh, for, uh, for whatever you're doing. $5 here, $10 here, whatever you're doing. Is it worth for you to get caught up and then spend 20 years in jail? Come on now. You got to start thinking wise and realize these are not the routes to take in life. But anything done for God, that's eternal benefit. What you do right now is if you and your friends got into a car and said, look, I'm ready for a quick come up. Let's go rob a bank right now. I already have a great plan. Even if you escape from that plan, it's already written on your spirit that what you've done. So you going in there trying to take a boatload of money, even if you get away with the crime, the money eventually runs out. I mean, it's not going to last forever. Usually, people who are trying to come up with a quickness are ready to be flashy. That's what some certain cultures are all about, being flashy. Oh, I got to get this now because everybody else is stunting, and I have to stunt too, and we have to hurry up and look flashy and look good, and I got to get this, and I got to drive this kind of car. I mean, just think about it. These possessions eventually wear out. There's always the next and the next. This is the year 2015. You did all that robbing and snatching, and you got the 2015, but now they're out with the 2016. You've only got 3 months left, and you back in the past. Now you got to start up, try to re-up, and try to get the next scheme going so you can be on 2016 stuff. And when you look at it, is it really worth it? I mean, a lot of people like to stunt so they can have the. I mean, it's the general rule. You get the money. You get the money, then you get the power, then you get the respect. I mean, some of those things you don't even need. Number one, you get the money. You can get that from any job, working authentically and legally, and don't have to look behind your back. The power, you're very powerful if you are walking in God's word. If you know about God, God's got you covered and he'll put you in some powerful places. And the respect yourself. Are you really thirsty for the next man's respect? Who is this person that you look up to him so much that you must have their respect, where you must can't fail in their face because you are ashamed that they'll look at you like you're nothing. No. And God says you're everything. Everybody in this world has the potential to be respected like that Pope that's being paraded around America. I mean, you have that potential. If only you look at it yourself like that. Look at yourself like that and believe that you're high, believe that you're mighty, not in a conceited, arrogant, egotistical way, but in a way where I'm respect worthy and I know who I am no matter what any outside factors are saying or doing to me. I know exactly who I am. So I'm not respecting any negative opinions. Instead, I'm going to know what God says about me, and that is who created me. So who better to know about me than the one who created me? Did you create me? Then shut up. Why are you contributing any information to me that goes against what my God says? And if someone has something to say to you, then, walk around with your good attitude. You don't worry about what they have to say about you. Know what God said about you, and know that he also said he'll protect you from anybody who's trying to put harm in your life. So that's for them to deal with. You do what God said for you to deal with. But always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord. Don't cheapen yourself by hurry up and trying to come up with some quick money. Get yourself in all kind of problems, and the next time you look around, the money's not even there. Um, all you have to do is, if you're trying to make a come up real quick, be smart. There's many ways to stack up money fast. You have friends. Get some true friends, 2, 3, 4, 5 of y'all. Get together in one place. Say that, hey, for 5 years we're gonna stick together. We're gonna live in a little what, however many room, a bedroom, something affordable for right now. We're gonna work for 5 years straight, saving our money. We're gonna all put in for this apartment. We're gonna live here, and within 5 years we can all just split up and go our own ways, but we'll stay good friends. But we'll have enough money within those 5 years time to do whatever we want to do, and it's gonna be it's gonna be legal, it's gonna be authentic, and we can look at our money and say, I earned this and I did it in a good way. Because can you imagine, get 5 good friends, people you trust, everybody staying in a one place, might be like a 3 bedroom or something, even if you have to pull out a hide a bed or something like that, and just to stick it out for 5 years and save all your money during those 5 years. That's enough to start to invest somewhere to do anything you want to do, and you can be on your way to get to the financial status that you're looking for. It doesn't take much, just a little plan. Instead of just saying, you know what, today I just need that 2015 today. I gotta get it, so I'm gonna go do it. No, you're just ruining your own life because life is short. The things you're doing, you could be making it shorter. But life is very short. You might get about 65 years out of this life. And if everything you're doing is for snatching or for a quick come up or whatever, and nothing is ever for the Lord, I mean, your eternity is after the 65 years of your life ends. That's when the rest of your life goes on. So, be more concerned. You gotta, just because you can't see that life right now, that's after the end of your life. Doesn't mean that it's not important. In fact, it's the most important. Just imagine your life as a test. Say, this life is a test. It's just to see what choices I'm going to make, who I'm going to serve, and what I'm going to do. That's all this life is about. That's for everybody. So, in general, the whole verse said again, so my dear brothers and sisters, stand strong. Don't let anything change you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord. You know that your work in the Lord is never wasted. And that is the chapter of the day. Check out the next two that are coming after this one. Goodbye.